Hello, everyone, and welcome to Samantha Uncut, where I discuss celebrity news, hot topics, reality TV, and so much more. All commentary is alleged and in my opinion. So, today we are discussing Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 9, Episode 3. So, let's get on with it. So, the episode starts off with the ladies entering the area for their final dinner for the night or for the trip. Everyone is dressed in all white. Everyone is looking beautiful for entertainment. They had this fire juggler who was outside juggling, did amazing job. Everyone found a seat and they were all sitting down because there was no assigned seating, so everyone just sat wherever they felt like. Melody noticed that Sunny and Destiny, they were sitting close to each other, and Destiny looked a little bit uncomfortable, so she asked Lauren, her friend, to switch with Sunny so that Destiny could feel more comfortable. And moving forward in the night, she did not want there to be any negative energy, and she wanted everyone to feel very comfortable moving forward. We all know that's not going to happen because there always have to be someone who is negative about something. However, Melody hopes that, moving forward, they can all keep the positive vibes going because they've been having, some resolution on the trip. So while everyone is going around the table letting Melody know that she did a wonderful job with the trip and how everyone was having a wonderful time, she's just absorbing all of that positive comments because, they had a really rough start to the trip where with everyone feeling how they were feeling, and then the hiccups with Stormy. So, everyone just wanted her to know that she did an amazing job with the trip overall and they were all having fun. Kimmy then says that she has never been on a girls' trip. I am not surprised at that comment or that revelation because Kimmy is so male identified that I think she is a girl's girl. I don't think she understands what it's like to have women company and to be a true girlfriend. So I'm not surprised that she's never been on a girls' trip because she's so far up Maurice's arms that I don't think she have a group of women who is her support system or her village. I don't think she understands that. If she does, then kudos to her. Then I would be very surprised at that. But that comment didn't really shock me. While everyone is sitting down having a good time on the trip, letting Melody know that she did a great job, Melody looks over and see that Destiny has the stink look on her face as usual, because nothing that involves Melody getting praises or anything is gonna be good enough for Destiny. It's just what it is at this point. So Melody turned to her and said, Destiny, you don't agree that the trip was good. Destiny then says, I don't have to do what everybody's doing. Then she goes into her confessional and states that it's just all too much. Everybody's just kissing Melody's arse, basically. Then she brings up the fact that she was upset because Nell had asked Sunny on the boat about having kids with Moses. And again, I don't understand why this is a problem, why this is an issue. The lady is married, and of course she's expected to have kids with her husband. But anyways, Nell apologized to Destiny for asking about Sunny having kids, and they tried to move forward. Then Sunny stated, it's good when people are able to acknowledge that certain things have happened and certain people have been betrayed, that things can move forward. I don't know who told Sunny to make that comment, because of course, here comes Destiny. Destiny said it's interesting that Sunny would make that comment because she's been denying that she betrayed her all along. Sunny then says she doesn't have to deny anything or say anything because her and Destiny, they weren't friends, so she did not betray her. So then Destiny said to her that's why she doesn't accept Sunny's apology, because of Sunny's attitude. Sunny said that she doesn't have an attitude. Melody actually jumped to Destiny's defense to say, yes, you did have it, to say to Sunny, you did have an attitude when you spoke to her, when you responded to her, you had a look on your face. And of course, production with their messy self flashback to the look on Sunny's face in that moment. And it's so interesting with seeing how Melody is still able to keep it 100 with the group, even if it's about defending Destiny. But at any time or point, Destiny is able to just throw shade or digs at Melody any chance she gets. And it's interesting. It's very telling about a person's character when they're able to do that and not see anything wrong with that. Again, Destiny tries to bring up some old stuff with Sunny. At this point, we're just all over it and we just want her to move on because Sunny has apologized to her several times on this trip. And it's like it's just not good enough for her. Melody then says, let's move on. She then brought out her second surprise for the group, which is a poem that she wrote for the group. Beautiful poem. So she recites the poem and everyone loved it. Then she wanted to give each individual a white rose, which signifies new beginning, because that's what they're expecting moving forward from this trip. Everyone starting their new beginning, whether it is Sunny having a baby or Destiny finding a life, everyone just moving forward in their whatever their new beginning is. So the next scene is with the Irrelevants, Ken and Trish. They were sitting at a coffee shop and Ken is basically getting the rundown from Trish about the girls' trip. Trish said to Ken that there was a lot of drama and she didn't like how Sunny kept comparing her situation to her and Ken, and that it was not the same. Ken agreed that it's not the same situation, and she also mentioned that Dr. Shanita kept chiming in. Ken asked, who is Dr. Shanita? And then Trisha says she doesn't know who Dr. Shanita is. She guessed it's Melody's puppet. Now, this is why fans of the show should not be on this show, because of comments like this. This is Trisha's first season. She doesn't know Melody from a can of paint. Why do you have an opinion? And who are you calling a puppet? Because if we're being fair here, you are more of a puppet than anyone else on this show. Matter of fact, you're very irrelevant on this show. Your scenes are insufferable. The only reason you're on this show is because you allegedly had your coochie going from house to house. According to your husband, because you're still not divorced, that your cooch was being stretched between Ken, him, and allegedly Martel. So I would suggest for you moving forward that you tread lightly. Understand the show that you are on and understand how irrelevant you are. And don't even think for 1 second that you are going to come on this show and disrespect Melody, disrespect her friend, or anyone else for that matter. Trish is then trying to convince herself and Ken of their timeline, and then Ken states that there are several couples who separate and move on to other relationships, and here comes Trisha again bringing up Melody's name by saying, Well, Mel did it. And for the life of me, I don't understand why she keeps bringing Melody's name up, because one, you don't know her, you have no relationship with her, you claim to not know Martel and that you only tried to train Martel. So why are you having all this conversation or vitriol for Melody? And it's clear the agenda here. You were given the script, which is to go on this show, go after Melody. You will have more airtime. You'll try to build a fan base by doing that. So we get it. You've been given the script and you are just being a puppet for Carlos and whoever else is a part of this agenda that is going on. So she continues to talk about her and Martel and the whole situation that happened. Ken finally said he doesn't want to hear anything else about it because he's going to be having a conversation with Martel because he's not liking how Trish is being portrayed as this thought, which she is. He's the only one that can't really see that Trish is a thought because that's how she portrayed herself, and she's okay with being portrayed that way. And he also mentions that he wants to have a conversation with Marquez about their situation, and it's just a whole drag. This whole entire scene is just I was really over it. It's draining to even think about, talk about. You know, their storyline is so dreadful. It should have never been brought to the screen. It should have never been brought to TV. And I don't understand why they're here. But anyways, we're gonna move on from one irrelevant to another irrelevant couple on the show, which is Kimmy and Maurice, where Kimmy again is letting her husband know the recap of the trip. This trip has been 40 days and 40 nights, and I feel like it's non-stop. Even while they're back home, it's still going on. And it's just tiring. She tells Marie she got along more with, had more in common with Trisha, and that is not surprising because Kimmy will like anyone that is a side chick or in a side chick position because they are relatable. In my opinion, she relates to that is her lane, and she would relate to anyone in that position. She said that Trisha stood on business regarding the whole Sunny and Destiny situation and her situation with Martel. And Maurice just had to remind her that Martel said that Trish didn't look good enough for him to have any relations with. Overall, they essentially agreed that Trisha and Martel, that because they weren't upfront about their situation, it seems like it's more than what it is. And Maurice said that Ken likes Trisha more than Trisha likes him, which is pretty obvious to a blind man. And again, we don't know anything about Maurice and Kimmy. We know everything about everyone else. And I'm tired of it. So that was pretty much the bulk of Maurice and Kimmy's conversation. Nothing fruitful. Then we have Tisha and so with their daughter Mila, and it was really nice to see Mila in this scene because, you know, we don't get to see the 4-piece nugget, so that was really nice to see Mila interact with her parents and just to see some normalcy for the kids on the show. Tisha recaps with Marceau about the trip and how Shanita kept calling her an op. Tisha said she called her the bodyguard, and Tisha said that Shanita should not really feel like she's an op because Tisha and Melody are in a good place and they do not have any issue. For me, I don't see where Tisha and Melody is in a good place based on how Tisha is moving this entire season. Marceau said to her, you know, you should leave Shanita alone, and how she shouldn't worry about her too. Basically, she shouldn't worry about Shanita because Shanita won't be here next year because, you know, Melody doesn't really keep friends. that's the running joke. And of course, Marceau throwing his little shade when it comes to Melody. Tisha then says that, she refers to Shanita as a man. And it's so interesting that Tisha would make a comment like this, because Tisha, before she got her tune up, we know what you look like. So you were the last person to ever discuss someone's look. And I try my best to just try to give Tisha some grace, because I feel like her mother did her a real disservice and she had a hard life. So I try to give her grace and understand that the way that I would see things normally, Tisha is a little bit she's a little bit delayed in coming to certain realizations in life. So I try my best to give her grace, but that comment was so unnecessary, so uncalled for, and she would be the first one crying if someone was to say that about her. Not only that, Tisha went into her confessional and said that even family members are not safe with Melody. And Tisha, again, which family member are you referring to? And this is what I'm talking about. How Tisha likes to be in Mel's family. She likes to bring up situations, her marriage, her business. But if the roles are reversed, it would be a problem. I think Tisha needs to stay in her lane. Just don't create problems for yourself, because we all know what the outcome is if someone was to discuss your marriage, your family, or say anything that you deem to be a problem for your life. So how about we just don't do that for other people. Tisha then brings up the whole Martell and Trish situation again, and I'm sick and tired of hearing about this situation. Then Tisha brings up the whole Destiny situation. Destiny insinuated that Melody was trying to teach Coleslaw how to cheat respectfully. And I just think, again, Tisha, what kind of good place could you be in with Melody for you to even repeat this conversation? Because you were right there at season 1, sitting at that table when that conversation was brought up, and you know exactly what Melody said at that table, so you know it's a lie. So to bring this up now, I just think it's so vile to even carry this forward. She then goes on into her confessional talking about Martell is the type of guy who would want to have Melody and Ariane, and they actually bleep the name out, fighting over him. And again, this is the second person. I actually want to bring this out because this is now getting on my nerves. This is the second person in this show that has said this girl's name on camera. And within this scene with Marceau and Tisha, this is the second time that she has referred to Coleslaw. And it just shows you how vile Tisha is as a person, because why are you saying her name on screen? This is a pattern. First it's Kimmy, then Destiny, then now you have Tisha. You have other people who are indirectly speaking of her. And this, to me, it's clear the agenda here, and this is a way for them to bring this girl on the show, because it's normalizing the audience to this name, to this person that everyone keeps referring to, whether the name is said or whether the name is said directly or indirectly. It's conditioning the audience to get used to this person. And I just think this is so vile from a group of women who know exactly what Melody has been through with this girl who has completely destroyed her marriage, granted with the help of Martell, but even to this day, this girl is online still harassing and saying things about Melody and her children. And I just cannot respect women who do things like this. Throughout this entire scene with Marceau and Tisha, we have learned again about Martell, Trish, Destiny, Melody. We have yet to learn about Marceau and Tisha. Is black open, torn down? What's going on with that? Marcel, are you still making hotels? Did Zen Garden get their money? Keisha, how is speech therapy going? Are you a full-time home wife, or did you get your office back? Because last season you were trying to get your office space back. What is going on with you guys? We would love to know what's going on with you if you plan on staying on this show instead of talking about other people's mess and bringing up lies and drama that is irrelevant, old, stale. We don't want to hear it anymore. We want to hear about you guys and the mess that is going on in your life. Next, we have the other irrelevant individuals that is on the show, Trish, Ken, and Marquez. I have nothing against Marquez, but this storyline is actually disgusting. It should have never been brought to the screen. It needs to go. It needs to go real fast. And Trish and Marquez, where they met up at the restaurant to discuss their situation. Trisha said she wants to sign the divorce papers and move on. Marquez showed up. They said hi. This whole scene is just so fake. It's so produced, it's overly produced, it's overly edited. Marquez was being very vulnerable in this scene, and the edits just made him seem like this person who is so weak, and he's an absentee father and he left his family, and Ken is the hero in the situation who is now the provider of the family, because this is how Ken was talking to Marquez in that scene, that, you know, there's no excuse for him to leave his family. There is no excuse for him not to be around, and how Ken is now the protector and the provider of the household. It was just a very deplorable scene, because in my opinion, this scene should have never happened between all three parties. This should have been a conversation between Marquez and Trisha, because they're dealing with a very sensitive topic that involves children, and there's clearly more to the story than meets the eye, and the edits clearly show that there are certain things that are being cut, and there's context that is missing from the conversation. So for me, this scene was completely irrelevant, and I personally don't want to see them on the show anymore. I think they need to get off all TV, social media, and they need to be in therapy. Trisha and Marquez needs to get a divorce, and they need to figure out a lot of stuff that they haven't figured out before, and so that they can move on. And they both need healing, and I don't think that Ken should be a part of their household, because in my opinion, I don't believe that Ken is this perfect guy that he tries to portray himself to be. There's something, for me, there's something very sinister about him. I don't know what it is, but I just don't see him as this great guy that he tries to portray being on television. It's just not for me, and I'm over it. I'm over their storyline, and I'm just over everything. I'm over all three of them, and I wish I've never heard of them. I wish I never saw them. Yeah, I'm over it. They drain me. Today drained me. Let me know what you guys think about this review. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment below. And I'll see you guys in my next video.